What's the schedule thing that's just appeared in my schedule?
That's the thing I just created so that way we can actually do the fucking show.
That's weird, that. We're having problems tonight, Dots.
That was fucking weird. We didn't even really have anything planned for tonight. It's just a BS filler episode.
Yeah, see, that's the. We'll blame the men in black. Hey,
So,
the men in black.
Just to kind of explain what happened and why some people watching the lives may be a little confused right now. So naturally, we utilize Streamlabs in order to do this. It lets us go out to all these different destinations at once. Then we can reuse the audio, blah, 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 blah. Even comes with a bunch of other toys that helps us repurpose the shows, get it out on like little clips on TikTok for as long as that's still up. Maybe Vine, because there's talk of Elon bringing Vine back, stuff like that. So when I got into the thing, it shows up like a little schedule. You're supposed to click studio, enter studio, and there, you're good to go. All your stuff's set up. For some reason, when Chris came in, all that shit disappeared. And as I explained in the chat for the previous video, that hopefully will delete itself when we don't come on in time. So we started a little early. Basically, what had happened is that the fucking door for the hosts to get in to do this show the way we have it set up was like it was plastered over and hidden from us.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get the fuck in. So we had to
when I come in, I thought, oh, I've beat Dakota to it. He's a wee bit late tonight. And I thought, oh, there it's there, enter studio. And it went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've entered the studio. Like usually they click on it. And then I went, oh, share this out on Twitter. And I looked back up, Dakota was in, it disappeared.
I basically hopped out to log out and log back in, see if that would have fixed it, but I have no fucking clue what happened.
Ken, this has got nothing to do with this, but Ken, see lately, I don't know if there's something in the air, right? I just feel weird today. I felt weird all day today, but never mind that. I keep getting electric shocks off my motor. And it's only within the last week I've been getting electric shocks from my car. And it's only from my car door. Well, obviously I don't get into the other side of the motor, but obviously it's driver's side. But I've been getting electric shocks off everything, not just my car door, like the house door and stuff like that, as if there's static electricity around about me. It's weird. That's the beard.
Well, yeah, something seriously wrong with your car, and you're going to blow up. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know it's quite a modern car. It's sort of weird digital things in the dash and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'll fucking do it.
Hello, Louise. Hello, Lawrence. Dots was unlucky today with the card readings, Tomorrow, don't worry. I promise you'll only get the devil 3 times. There's only one devil in the pack, so you should be fine.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. But
oh, you're off counting cards again.
Yeah. I wish I could count the cards about bloody Las Vegas to now. But, you don't get your alien contacts. You don't get your alien contacts to help you when next time you go to like the Las Vegas or something like that.
Doesn't work like that.
Nah, no, doesn't work like that. They could help. They could. All we're asking for is $100 million.
No, why? It's a game of probability.
Oh no, it's a game of probability. Mere chance of getting trampled to death by a 2-legged donkey.
Trust me, I've tried using dreams where I for some reason I dreamt of lotto numbers, and I tried copying those numbers to see what would happen.
Well, actually, I've been lucky lately. And especially with the Euro Millions, I've been winning like 3 or 4 or maybe 6 or 7 pounds each time. And I've noticed if you go in a diagonal line when you're picking them, see, I ken somebody that plays 1, 3, 6, 8, 9. That's his numbers. That's what he always plays. Never. I mean, the numbers are just like really hard. I mean, you can see how much the Euro Millions is. Hey, Louise, the Euro Millions, 143 million euros. Yeah. What's that in dollars? About $145 million. Remember that?
I don't know. I'm too tired to do that fucking math, man.
I know. I put a couple of lines on. Fuck it. You don't see me after the Tuesday.
Fucking hell. It's bad enough we gotta figure out time zones between us just to do the fucking show, man.
Well, I'll tell you something now. If I had to win the Euro Millions, which is highly improbable, I would move to the United States.
And probably get your ass arrested.
Oh no, I'd be fine. Look at Pete. He's away in the
All
mountains.
all the shit you like to joke about would probably get your ass sued over here.
Look, I'm in Scotland. You're not allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to say good morning to somebody. You're not allowed to say how was your roast dinner. You're not allowed to say these things anymore.
Mm.
You know.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I have made a play. I've made a pledge, and it's all my subscribers. If I win the Euro Millions, I'm giving every one of them $100,000 that come into my chat, that talk to me. You know, the ones that don't talk to me, they can bugger off. But for all the ones that talk to me, I'll get 100,000.
How desperate are you for attention that you feel like you need to bribe people just to talk to you?
No, it's not to talk to.
How desperate for attention?
Give money away.
Why would? Yeah, and what's going to happen when that money goes away? All those people are going to disappear. So you may as well just buy yourself a nice call girl, put her on retainer, and have a good time.
But I think $150 million. I mean, it's going to last you for quite a wee while. I mean, just think how happy you will be if that to happen, which is not going to happen. There's a mere chance of me getting hit by lightning, trampled to death by a herd of two-legged donkeys, and then Dot showing up and beating me to death with a wet fish. Right? It's not going to happen.
That seemed awfully specific.
Well, there's ways of dying. You think about all the ways that you could possibly die. How many people do you think are born every minute?
Hard to say, really.
106. Or the entire planet. How many people do you think are 106 people die every minute, right, in the world. 23 are born every minute. It's quite interesting, that, isn't it? Because it's obviously, it just shows you how they say population's going down, but it can't be if that's going up.
No, the infant birth rates in several countries are actually starting to slow down to where I think they said India actually surpassed the population of China not too long ago.
Wow. Who has the biggest population on Earth? Is it the Chinese?
I believe it's let's see. Country has largest population. India. Yeah.
India. Mm-hmm.
Estimated population of 1,428,627,663.
Wow, that's a lot, and that's just crazy. Hey,
India. Yeah, India actually surpassed China because there's so much shit going down in China right now.
There's that new disease or whatever it's called in Japan, and all the kind of other kind of mad things. Look, there's always got to be diseases, and I see they've brought out a new vaccine. There's a new vaccine for cancer. Have you heard about this? A new mRNA vaccine that's been developed off of COVID vaccine.
Yeah, they've been trying that for a while now.
Yeah, and I watched the guy the day about it. He says, "Oh, I was terminally ill. Knew I'm all right. Knew and all that. Good for him, and all that. But he's had that vaccine. I don't trust the vaccines, and that's the honest truth. I may as well say this because they've got to be making it illegal in the UK to talk about the COVID shot. I may get it out my system before they make that illegal.
Yeah, kind of figures with the number of investigations already starting to crop up because of how many people dying from heart-related conditions that seem to be correlated with the vaccine.
I know 27 people that have died, all with blood clots, since last year.
And of course, naturally, this live is probably going to get flagged because of this. Remember, we do have several channels that we are go out to, and our YouTube is backed up on Rumble
Yes,
just in
Simply
case.
Alan. It's skin. There's Simply Alan trying to correct me. I said cancer. I never said skin cancer. I just said cancer vaccine.
It's like
Skin cancer. It's
when
the
you
same thing, and
not really.
Your melanoma and all that kind of stuff. I know what you're talking about, but it's look. They're still using the MRI. They're still using the oath, the COVID vaccination. Right? They're still using the same techniques. Right? I don't care. I'm unvaccinated, and quite frankly, I'm happy I'm unvaccinated. Because you're unvaccinated, didn't you, Dakota?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many people in the chat are unvaccinated? Say yes.
You really want to? You want to start outing people like that? Come on.
Ah, come on. It's come on. Look, it's the world is changing that quick, right? The world's. I don't know. I was made to. I was made horrendous. Folk taking the piss out of me. Oh, you've no got that. You've no got this. Oh, you're going to die and all that kind of stuff. See, see the people that said that to me don't even talk to me anymore because they care I'm right. Care I'm right. And it's. I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It is a little funny that Pfizer all of a sudden has several grants for heart-related research when all this is going on. It's also not the first time that Pfizer has rebranded a bunch of their shit just to appease an audience. Take a look at the history of Viagra.
That's actually quite interesting you bring that up because obviously it wasn't originally created for what it's created. It was created for a heart condition, wasn't it? But
yeah, it
that's
was
the side
meant
effect.
to help with blood pressure and with a side effect of a 38-hour erection. Now it's marketed as a pill for erectile dysfunction to help with blood pressure. And yes, of course I need it when the ladies keep lining up.
Well, do you know the old nurse's tale? That's why they give half a Viagra to the old men at night, so they don't roll out their bed.
So don't roll out the bed and keep them from pissing themselves.
Mm. But it's actually quite. I mean, look at Neil's story. He was talking about that in the little book of horrors. That book that he's got with the guy with the implantation. That is what it was. It's that Viagra. And if you take too much, yeah, it can be very bad for you.
Cause it to blow off like you shoved a firecracker in it. What was with the Elvis impression on that?
Thank you very much. What do you do? I don't know if Elvis was still about and maybe a bit that kind of thing. I don't know.
Nah, for not how religious he was getting at the end of it.
He was. I mean, have you seen that Pastor Bob Royce? You know who I'm talking about. He's his double, but I don't think he's I don't think he's related in any which way. I just
don't
think
know. He has been spotted hanging around Graceland an awful lot.
Has he? Maybe he's just a fan. Oh, there you go.
You never know. You never know.
I know someone that was forced to get that. That was forced, and they would have lost their job if they hadn't got it.
Oh yeah,
I think that's horrendous. I think it's horrendous making people do that. But seemingly our government now they're wanting to vote in this new crew, whatever the day, and seemingly they're going to be going after them because of all the deaths. I mean, it was a bit ridiculous. At the time, I knew somebody that was working in the emergency services, just let's say it that way. And they told me they went to a suicide and the coroner had put on the death certificate that they died for COVID. Even though they were hit by a high-speed train doing 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, there was several reports of that happening. Say, oh, someone went in just for flu-like symptoms at that time, and being that was the big thing, they got tested for COVID. Anything that was flagged at even remotely being suspected of being COVID related was put into those numbers that several hospitals were reporting.
Yeah.
Maybe it was to help get grant money. I don't know. But nevertheless, the way the situation was handled, it is several instances are coming out right now saying that it was nowhere near as bad as they tried to make it out to be.
I bet you a couple of years there's another pandemic. I bet they do it again. But this time it'll be far worse than anything you've seen.
Doubtful.
Oh no. The way they're shutting the system down, the way everything's, unless your government changes, that's what I'm going to say. Is because
Doubtful.
everybody follows America and stuff like that. But you don't think they'll do it again? Do you not think they'll do it again?
Doubtful.
Because you heard Bill Gates going on about it. He was going to say, no, the next one will be far, far worse.
There's several patterns throughout history that indicates that can be used to predict when major disasters are about to happen. Like the whole how every 100 years there's a major pandemic, just like that. There's also generational cycles. Right now, we're seeing so much happen because of how the coronavirus pandemic was handled, that even the people that would support it, the people still walking around in masks, realize something was not right.
I mean,
We would not be able to support the world if they were to try that again. One. Two,
because
people aren't going to fall for it.
I mean, I did see some ridiculous things when it first came out. I seen a guy with an air filter on his face.
Yeah.
He actually duct taped an air filter onto his face. And I was like, what in God's name am I witnessing here? The idiocy of the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you see the guy with the one where he taking the big water bottle, those storage water bottles you got? The ones with the wee cups. And he'd cut a hole in it and put it on top of his head.
Clever.
You still got to breathe air in.
Clever, give him that.
Yeah, it's clever until you run out of oxygen. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, though. There's so much about this, and it's even come out that Anthony Fauci's admitted that he knew the masks weren't going to do shit.
I know. It's only really the medical grade masks. I mean the ones that strap right out of your face. I don't mean the ones that you see doctors and nurses on all the time. It's the medical. Is it H1511? You kind of medical grade masks I'm talking about. Even them struggle to filter microbes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was quite funny because every time I went into like supermarkets and that, the guy would stop you. The security guard would stop you. It says you can't come in unless you've got a mask on. But I found a way around about it. Ken, how you get the neck warmers, the kind of right thin ones, the ones that uses like a skull on it. I did them with like that and popped it up. And he says, "All right, when you go, and you go." As soon as you walked in, they just popped it back down again.
Oh yeah, I used to do that when I had to wear masks in order to get into work, and being that it was a small grocery store and not a lot of us were in there when it was overnight, none of us actually wore it until customers started coming in. But I would use like little neck gaiters, and a bunch of old soldiers would see me working like that, and he's like, "You're a smart man." It's like, yeah.
I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this. There was a weird virus going about, right? And it did have, it was COVID, right? That did exist, right? Because I had it, I felt terrible. I thought I was going to die, right? I honestly did think I was going to die, right? I know you're playing your harp there, getting a new presenter. But anyway, I honestly thought I was going to die. But I had it again after it, a couple of months after it. I had it again, but it wasn't as bad. You know what I mean? And I do kind of lot of folk that have had it. I kind of lot of people that have had it and they've died. But they didn't actually die for the disease. They actually died for what the hospital gave them.
Yep.
And it's actually known as a tranquilizer kind of thing. But I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's her name in the chat. Louise can help. Kind of medical. They actually give it to you in the hospital, and it's like a painkiller, but it makes you have even more breathing problems. I can't mind what it's called. But... Oh, there's Son of the Naked Bigfoot. What the fuck is up, my darlings? Just checking in with home. Decided to pop in and say hey. Good to see you, my friends. Stay safe in there, Mount Hood. Where's that again? Where's Mount Hood?
Hood. That's near Washington.
As in Washington. That.
Yeah, Hood River. It's out of Oregon.
Because I know where loads of people have disappeared. National parks.
Everywhere that has national parks, people have disappeared.
No, I'm sure there's meant to be a place near Mount Hood. There's like an old story, a logging town or something that people disappeared or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
You can tell us after Pete.
Trust me, if you actually go to Oregon, you could see why it's so easy to get lost there.
What's wrong with Oregon? Like, what's wrong with Oregon? I'm an outsider here.
It's a pretty tense territory. If you fuck around, you're going to get yourself injured. Just chronic stupidity will get you killed over here.
Talking about people getting killed, you want to share that link out to the poor police officer that was killed? That was horrendous. I donated to it, guys. It'd be really nice if you guys could donate to it. Dakota, do you want to explain it better than me?
Well, I was going to try to explain yesterday, but you shut up some days, man. God.
I know. Let me go.
I'm just filling the gap so I can actually get in and we'll grab the link. Don't have it saved on me. So on April 20th, there was a police district not too far from me, Ada County, who actually lost an officer in the line of duty. He was just pulling over a traffic stop. Guy had like a $30,000 warrant and just shot him. Deputy Bolton, this is the first officer that this police district has ever had lost in the line of duty. He was only 27 years old. And to make matters worse, his wife is expecting.
Oh, that's terrible.
Aye.
World we live in's a shithole, man. Terrible.
So there's a GoFundMe that's going out in the chat right now. If you can donate a few bucks, try to help out the family, that would be appreciated. There's memorials all over for this guy, man.
It's terrible. I mean, I clicked on it, I donated something, and he's only young. He's really young. And his wife's left with a kid that's not came yet, obviously. Can you imagine what that's got to be like? She's going to have to explain to that kid that her dad or his dad died.
Yeah. Well, the guy who did it, he's gone. They got him. It was a suicide by cop.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, there was no other way he was getting out of that.
Yeah, it's terrible. The world we live in is totally messed up, It totally is messed up. And I know in the United States, everybody's nearly got a gun and stuff like that. And that's the problem. See, obviously the UK is different, right? The UK, the police here are no armed, except you get armed response police. And the only problem, and you know what this country's bad for? Knife crime.
Yeah.
Knife crime. But except in the United States, it's obviously different. I actually watched a program about it, and the cop was saying that you could actually buy an illegal gun in the US for under $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, if you know how to override the security protocols for them, 3D printers, you can actually 3D print fully functioning guns.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of the models, they have basically security protocols to try to prevent it, but people have obviously figured out how to get around that.
Yeah. I've seen YouTube videos. I've seen YouTube videos on the 3D printing guns, and I thought to myself, wow. But then the guy doing it says you can only use it a few times because it's plastic. Yeah. And he says the first time it fired, the second time it fired, and the third time it jammed. When it jams, you throw it away because you risk putting another in chamber. It explodes
You risk
in your
blowing your
face.
you
Yeah.
risk blowing your fingers off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, I will say this: the 3D printers are absolutely fantastic. What they can do.
Do you see that there's
I mean,
one that uses chocolate?
yes, there's
It's like
a one that uses meat tea. Did you know that?
I
There's one that you can do it with meat tea. There's chocolate. I like all the kind of weird musical instruments it can make and stuff like that. Flute that I've got, that's all 3D printed, and it's
well,
amazing how it's made.
my Aztec
What's
Death
that?
Wiffle was 3D printed.
Hi, that's right. I seen them too. I seen the Aztec man's whistles. Aye, and it's amazing how 3D printers houses. They started using them over here, and it actually prints a house. It's like
Yeah.
concrete. It puts it down, and then it comes back out again all the way up.
Oh yeah, it's for how fast those 3D printers can build entire houses. It's impressive.
Well, this actually is a great segue to take us to the moon, actually, because I see they're wanting to build a moon base on the moon, and they're wanting to use like 3D printers in space to build it,
Well,
like
yeah,
the habitats.
it would be easier just to ship the necessary materials for the 3D printers, maybe some tools here and there to help fix them in the event of any breakage.
Well, I
But it
watched it
would
the
just
night.
be easier.
Well, I actually watched it the night. And it's really interesting. They're going to ship all the components up there, right, along with robots,
Yeah.
droids. Basically, the droids will do all the work. They don't need to sleep or eat. They need to recharge now and again. And they'll do the thing. But what in God's name is that they people thinking that are wanting to put a train on the moon? What would be the point of putting a train on the moon? I can see the point, maybe shut my boobs. It's as if. Did you see that? Did you see how they're wanting to put a train on the moon?
I saw that. And here's a little link to read up on that if y'all are interested.
It's bloody interesting. It's I was like, "Ah, it's got to cost billions, and I mean billions."
Anybody who's just has a decent enough telescope can just look at the moon and see that something's already moving up there.
Oh, I heard that. I ken some that I've got a friend. I've got a
Fuck, if you have
friend.
decent pair of eyeballs and watch the moon carefully on a clear enough night, you can see something is flying around up there.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but somebody keeps sending me videos of things that they keep capturing, and it's
Oh, did Lewis get
bad.
get a new camera?
Yeah, it's no Lewis, no, it's somebody else. I ken, but I ken that Lewis he does it too. But it's actually quite scary. Actually, what's moving about?
Oh yeah, because if you take into consideration the size of the moon and how big some of those things coming off of it are.
So there's some craters that are what 100 miles across, but then there's some craters that's only like a mile across. But you'll see this thing landing in the craters and then taking off again. It's folk will be like, "Oh, that's the size of a car," and I'll look at them and I'm like, "No, that crater there's probably about 2 miles across." What's going on up there then? What is going on? Is that the Galactic Federation? Are they building bases up there or something like that? What they
They're
up to?
involved. They're involved, yes.
So why are they what they up to then? Are they getting something ready to bring to the surface? I'm just going to blow my nose.
Pretty much. They're getting word is that they're getting the med beds upgraded and proper to where they can come down. There's all sorts of operations that go on up there. And you also got to take into consideration this is sort of the foundation. This is the gamer in me talking, but this is the foundation for getting shit like Doom. How Doom got started. You pay attention to the story in the games, but there's not really a lot of restrictions of what they can do when they're up there.
China, turning into Donald Trump here. China are building in the dark side of the moon.
Yeah,
Why?
they are.
What they up to?
They're wanting to compete with the Artemis Accords that the U.S. is leading.
Right, I'm going to say this now, right? Obviously, the dark side of the moon is going to be really, really handy if you want to hide things, right? Because obviously, it's the dark side of the moon, right? But why not just build it in the side of the moon? Again, that could be viewed. It's obviously for secrecy and stuff like that. But surely to God, the Chinese must know that these other things are up there.
They know.
But did they just avoid each other?
No. It's sort of a neutral ground.
So let me get this straight. So you could have like a Chinese moon buggy with 4 astronauts in it driving across the surface, but at the same time, you could have a spaceship with extraterrestrials in it, stopping and looking at them.
Yeah. That's what happened during the moon landings.
That's right. That's right. Remember, some of the astronauts says they could see something watching them.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the various countries up there, and you kind of wonder what they are up to. What's the resources on the moon? Is there any resources on the moon?
I do believe there is some radioactive deposits. There is some metals up there, obviously. That would be from crashed meteors, because part of the moon's function, or at least how it got so many craters, is to help deflect some of the meteors that would have probably caused some serious issues for the planet. But there's quite a bit that goes on that people don't realize. And it's slowly starting to come forward. You want to talk about what's actually going to happen in the next few years? I don't think it's going to be a bad. I fully believe that we're going to see another space race.
Yes, I heard that.
Oh, we're going. It's everybody's already lining up at the starting line.
Well, they're actually up here in Scotland. They're going to be building a spaceport. Did you hear about that?
Aye.
But if you really think about it, you would be better building a spaceport on the moon. If you really think about it, because when you go to take off, you don't need as much fuel. You know what I mean? There's no drag. There's no. I mean, it would be the best idea.
Considering the propulsion systems for the craft that are being utilized, that don't mean shit.
Oh, obviously, the extraterrestrials out there that are highly advanced that can travel faster than the speed of light.
I'm not talking ETs, man. I'm talking what our military has readily available in use right now.
So applaud then all these Elon Musk space rockets and all that's just a load of bullshit then.
That's just the public side of what's being seen. Because it's a private company. The private companies don't necessarily have to follow secrecy. They follow their own rules. That's why governments of the world contract out. Because the information that gets collected through these contracts can't be collected and released to the public through Freedom of Information Acts, because it runs into their own company's non-disclosure agreements.
What's that in the chat? Sorry, just joined you. You don't honestly believe they landed on the moon, do you? I do believe they went to the moon. They went to the moon. There's evidence there that they went to the moon. You need to be a complete idiot not to believe it. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this to you now. Evidence in the moon is on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
The top telescopes in the world, you can see the lander on the moon, right? Maybe they actually taken it there and left it there. I don't know. And then there are going to be people out there that's going to say, but who took the photos when it landed? When it landed, a lot of people don't know this, but a wee camera popped out the bottom on a long arm. And that's how they got Neil Armstrong, 1 foot for mankind. That's how they did it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realise this. Yes, we did go to the moon. But why did we the question people should be asking is, why did we not go back? Well, maybe we did go back, but obviously it's secret.
Well, let's face it. What is the number one excuse you actually hear when it comes to why we didn't go back to the moon? We lost the technology somehow.
I love that one.
I'm sorry.
I love that one. How did we lose the technology?
The average person, even with a 10, almost maybe even a 20-year-old cell phone, has more processing power in their pockets than
Yeah.
what it took to send people to the moon.
Right. I'm going to say this. There was a reason we stopped going to the moon. I don't think we stopped going to the moon, to be purely honest with you. I think we continued to go to the moon, but obviously through a different way, a different type
Well,
of flying aircraft way.
well, a lot like how Dan Willis said when he came on the show. It's not that we didn't go back, it's that we realized someone beat us there.
Yeah, they've been there for a long time. There's evidence that there's extraterrestrials been on that moon for billions of years.
No,
Millions of
I'm not
years.
just talking. I'm not talking just ETs. I'm talking somebody else who was not on our side already beat us to the moon.
Yeah, Russia.
Nazis, Russia.
Yep. Nazis, Russians, the Chinese. Look at the Indians landed a rover there the other day. Well, no, the other day, but what was it, last year? It cost them, was it 700 and something million? And before anybody starts, the picture that you see on the video, right? And this is for all the stupid people out there. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to say this for you. The kid on cartoon thing that you see landing is no actual footage. It's an illustration, right? That they put up with the rover. Can't everybody on TikTok thought that was real?
Yeah,
That's how mad this world is.
I know.
Apollo 18, 19, and 20 went in secret. Of course they did, because they went to look at what was up there.
I know. And going back to the whole, people thought that these computer generated images were the legit thing. First off, you got to take into consideration all you got to do to realize what's available as far as how things can be faked nowadays. Look at that Sora AI that's getting ready to come out, and look at the latest model of Unreal Engine. Yes, it's a video game making engine, but if you look at how well the graphics are for that,
Aye.
unless you have unless whoever made the video puts in something that's obviously a legitimate cartoon, the photorealism of those programs is getting so impressive.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's amazing technology now. But can you imagine what the governments get stashed away? Oh my God. They're probably 100 years, 200 years more advanced than what we've got. See, this is what people don't realise. There's all these wars that's happening now, and they're all using like frigates and tanks and rockets and all that kind of stuff. But you don't realise what the US governments get stashed away. That's why Russia doesn't press the button, because they're no idiots. They know that they've got stuff stashed away. But then again, Russia's got stuff stashed away, I know. We're no stupid here. So is China. But I definitely think we're in a secret alliance with China, Russia, the UK, America, all together, working together while all these other mad, stupid things happen on the planet. And that's just to dull down us humans, to dull us down, thinking, ooh, TikTok, stupid dances and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. You should be doing something else with your life. You should be trying better. I mean, it's like Samuel who was on there last week saying, us humans, we need to get our heads out our asses basically before we end up fucking this planet out. We need
exactly. I mean, you see it all the time in just about any large enough community of people, how quickly we turn on one another.
Of course we do.
For the most stupidest of reasons.
Oh yeah.
When in reality, if we actually sat back, stop trying to act like any of us are bigger and better or holier than thou, you may be surprised at what could actually be accomplished.
Aye, but they'll know. It's like folk will know that. It's like the younger generation now, and I'm sorry. The younger generation now, can you imagine them going to war to fight for freedom and liberation like my grandfather went to fight the Germans and the Japanese? Can you imagine this generation actually going to war? Can you imagine it? And
well, let's
it would be horrendous.
Let's go to another controversial issue when it comes to like the trans community, especially with the number of rather violent incidents have been been reported lately involving a trans person as the main suspect. Think about this. anytime there is hormone replacement therapy for whatever reason it may be,
Mm-hmm.
whether they had a tragic accident and they're getting put on hormone supplements to try to
Yeah.
basically cover what they lost, they're transitioning. If that's your choice, I'm not.
If you identify as a pumpkin,
If that's
sure.
what you want to do, that's your choice. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
climbing on that. What I am wanting to point out is the fact that very few people seem to realize that there is psychological evaluations
Yeah.
when these types of drugs are being implemented,
Mm-hmm.
because the rapid changes in hormones can actually result in violent and psychotic behavior.
Yeah.
Do we really want these people having guns when we don't know what? I'm very well aware of at least 5 different incidents where people who were in the middle of transitioning had violent outbursts, killed off their family.
Yep. Look, the world's went mad. It truly has went mad. I've got nothing against them that wants to identify as a pumpkin or a turnip or whatever they want to identify as. I've got nothing against them, but it's getting a bit ridiculous now. It is getting a bit ridiculous. Considering some of the stuff they come out with. It really
Exactly.
is. What I don't agree with is like how they can take children that are not even of age and decide that they're getting hormonal replacement. That's
What
wrong
was
because they can't even decide for what they want in life.
exactly? The parents are essentially forcing their children into genital mutilation because
Yeah.
they feel because a boy maybe wanted to try on a dress at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kid. They don't see those lines that their parents have instilled in them. They don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
If they decide to make that choice when they're older, that's fine. That's okay. I don't give a shit if that's what they decide to do. But nevertheless, if you're going to do something like that with drugs that have been experimented on and put out by the Nazi regime in order to sedate
Right.
and experiment on completely innocent individuals that, let's face it, we may not actually be able to ever have accurate counts of how many people lost their lives for what they did. Be smart about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Those drugs were brought out by the Nazis. Bayer, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, used to experiment on women.
Yeah.
They would practically order shipments of at least 150 women at a time to experiment
Look,
drugs on, and that's how they managed to build up their knowledge.
look, if we're talking about the drugs industry, the drugs companies, man, come on. There's drug industries out there where they've got certain cancer curing drugs, right? Pills, right? Tablets for Americans. And the drug companies, it costs them 5 cents to make one pill, right? But then they charge $500 for that one pill. What's the point?
Because they know the cancer patient and their families are going to be desperate
Well,
enough to
gonna
try
pay.
to save their loved ones to
Yeah.
pay anything.
Yeah.
It's like that one guy who upped the price for insulin shots
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
over the roof. People, and let's face it, yes, there are situations where, now granted, I hate taking drugs, but there's people out there who legitimately need these things in order to save their lives,
Mm-hmm.
in order to get better from whatever's ailing them. Yes, it
Yeah.
does happen, but nevertheless, they say there's a drug out there that can cure most forms of cancer that costs less than a chocolate bar.
Yep, but they'll not get it because they're making too much money on all the poor people that are dying.
It's more profitable to treat an illness rather than to cure it. And let's face it, there's
Yeah.
entire industry communities that are founded for the simple fact to make sure production companies don't make products that are too good. That literally started with a light bulb that's been on for over 100 years and still going.
I know I've seen that. That's quite impressive, that light bulb.
That
Yeah.
light bulb literally caused these entire communities of major industrial corporations to come together and find anybody who makes a product that's too good, that doesn't break.
It's like we were talking yesterday. It's like how we were talking yesterday about the disposable cars. The new electric cars by 2025 onwards will be disposable cars. So they're designed to break. So it's quite interesting. I was having a conversation with a guy that works for a certain car manufacturer, and he was telling us that even if you to take one of the cars and put it in a box and seal it away, right? After 6 years, that car will not start because the program will have deemed that car disposable,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's just madness. Put it this way, right? My niece bought. She's got the new Corsa. I don't know if you know what the Corsa what do you call it? Vauxhall, which is GM in the UK, America, right? And what's that? Cancer has been 9 times that 19. Right, anyway, a bird flew out in front of her the other day there, and it cracked the what do you call it? Her headlight. Right, most cars like mine and yours, Dakota, we can go and get a headlight at the scrapyard, no problem, for let's say $20 or something like that. But
Right.
because her car's like 2-year-old or something, it's one of these modern ones. See the light bulb in it? It's an LED. You can't change it. You cannot change the headlight. To get it done through Vauxhall, it's £1,800 for the headlight. But my brother has her father managed to get a headlight second hand. But here's the thing. See, when you unscrew the headlight, you can't take it off without breaking the panel that holds it in. So when you take that out, you have to buy the panel that goes behind it.
Lovely.
It's designed to break. It's designed so you cannot fix it. And it's the same when you open it now. There's a plastic cover out of the more modern engines. You take that plastic cover off, but they've made it so it's in a way you've got to plug it into their software to find out what's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's madness.
It
really is madness.
It is. I mean,
It's
and people that they say, "Oh, they wouldn't do that. Oh, wouldn't do that." Look at what Apple got in trouble with when it was discovered that they purposely
yes,
put timers on batteries.
yes,
That they could tell that the battery is a certain age, the software would start kicking in to make the phone start running slower, crashing more, to essentially force people into buying new iPhones.
yeah.
And the Apple
You,
community, dumb enough to fall for it.
yeah, I know. I
I
was one.
said it.
I know.
I fucking said it.
I've got
All
an
you
iPad.
assholes that make fun of me because I use a Samsung.
I like my Apple devices. I'm going to say this now. I do like my Apple devices, but let's look. Did you know in the 1970s, was it who's that car manufacturer? It was famous for making big. You ever seen Uncle Buck's car? You know the one I'm talking about. Oh, is it Cadillac? I think it's the Cadillac.
Yeah, I drive a Cadillac.
They actually said that they could make a car last 20 years. You would never need to change a part on it. You'd only need to change the exhaust and the tires and the brakes. You would never need to change any like ball joints, bushes, power steering pumps, things like that. You would never need to. But they went against that because it's non-profitable. You've got to remember, these car industries don't make the money through the cars. They make the money through the parts.
Oh yeah.
And that's the sad truth here. That's how they
I mean, let's add this to the number of reasons why they want to try to get rid of TikTok. There was this video that I saw, and it was a mechanic yard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some guy brought in his truck, been in an accident, had a pretty good sized dent, wanted to get the dent repaired. This mechanic was kind of old school. He just went, looked up at the dent, nodded his head, stepped back, took 2 steps back, kicked it right at the bottom of the frame. And guess what happened? The dent was fixed. Is it?
Yeah.
That'll be $2,000.
Yeah. The car that I've got is a 2012 model, right? And it's Jesus and all that's holy. There's sensors everywhere on it, right? It's a pain in the arse. Honestly, I said this to somebody the other day there. I've got a thing about old Land Rovers. You know what I'm talking about? The old Land Rover kind of vehicles. I'm thinking about getting a tax exempt vehicle and an MOT exempt vehicle, 1970s vehicle. I need to put fuel in it and insure it because it's MOT and tax free. But I was sitting in a car the other day there, and it was the new, what was it, Vauxhall GM, by the way, Astra. Oh my god, everything was digital, man. Everything was digital. It's satellite navigation. See the screen on it, it all lights up. You don't know the rev counter anymore. It's like a spaceship. Right? It's all at lights and everything like that. And I was talking to the guy who actually owns a garage, and I says to him, I says, "How do you fix something like this?" And he says, "You have to take it to Vauxhall now because there's actually software with them that's no letting you work on them for other garages." It's mad.
Yeah.
They're nice to drive. Don't get me wrong, but they're breaking down really quick. I've noticed that a lot. They're breaking down like 2-year-old, 3-year-old. Oh, love your shows. Hey from South Africa once again. Oh, thank you very much.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I think that's how it's pronounced.
Nothing's built. Dots cold bulletproof, Chris. I've looked everything new. I wished I can remember when cars were so easy to work on. I mean, so easy to work on, right? See now, you need a computer to reset the service thing. You need a computer. See my car. My car hasn't got like. See it when you shut the door, and you've got the wee chub that comes up and it locks the car. My car doesn't have that. Doesn't have that. That doesn't have until you just put your hand against it, it goes click, and it opens, and the door opens. And the sensors are always going out. I've got another. I have to replace the boot lock again on the back of my car because all I can get is right. Where is it? I'll show you this. I have to replace the boot lock in the back of my car. And it's there, right? Now I buy them for Amazon. It costs me maybe £25 each time, every couple of months. How much do you think the equivalent of that is for Vauxhall GM?
Probably a couple hundred.
400.
Damn.
Lock switch. That's why I buy it. That's why I'm getting good at changing the boot locks in the back of my motor, because it only takes me 15 minutes to just put a new one on. Lasts me 3 months. Buy another one. Lasts me 3 months. But come on. Yeah, I mean, it's
only
mad.
3 months. That seems kind of fucked up.
It's something to do with the electronic system in it, and it's a nightmare. A nightmare. You've no idea. I'm seriously considering it going to something else, but it's motors now are just no worth it anymore. Aye, there's Lawrence. He still has an old car he can work on. We'll keep it. Keep it.
Ow. Yeah, I got my 95 Cadillac, and people are like, "Oh, it's a nice car." You know, I was like, "Yeah." I mean, things got oil leaks and discontinued parts all over the place, and it's still runs better than most of these newer cars out and about. And yes, I do want to try and get the oil leak fixed, but the problem is the parts are all discontinued that I would need for the car.
Fine. Just keep putting oil in it. You could put oil there. Just keep putting oil in it.
I know. I'm not too worried about it.
Look, it's like everything. We live in a throwaway society. I've got an iPhone 12, right? And that iPhone 12 will probably last me for another 5 years, right? Right. But I know people every 6 months to buy a new iPhone. And the latest one comes out. And I'm like, are you mad? Oh, but this one's got like an extra camera lens. And I'm like, are you mad? Why? Why do people do it? And it's a throwaway society. It's like doing to lithium and all that again. And
I mean, here's something I want to know. You remember some years back when there was a startup company that was trying to get going, and they were trying to take on the pollution problem from the number of people just tossing away their phones. So they made this. Well, essentially, you have like a main brick of it, and you have all the components to it, like the battery, the camera, the storage. You can connect all that like fucking Legos. And if you wanted to upgrade something, you can just unclick something, put a new one in, just like that. Can we try to bring that concept back?
It's not just that. It's like look at computers. Look how quick computers get old, right?
Oh yeah.
There was actually a car manufacturer out there that started making their cars out of hemp See the dashboards and the seats and the
Yep.
carpets was made out of hemp. No, you can't smoke it. It's not that type of bloody hemp. No, but anyway, there was actually another company out there, and they started making laptops. And the only thing you could actually physically throw away the plastic. It's no plastic. It was made of hemp, right? And all the components could be recycled, totally recycled. But they said, "Oh no, it's not safe for people in the public." And they did that, so they weren't allowed to do it, so you had to keep buying plastic.
Yeah, no, this is like I was thinking it was like the cars in the 1940s. Hemp steel was basically the dominant material out there because it was cheap. It was damn near hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back when things were built to be able to take a beating.
Yeah. Look, with living a throwaway system, it's the same with the Xbox and all that kind of stuff, and the PS5 and all that. Because I was bringing out. I know I've not got a new Xbox yet. I've still got.
Am I here? Who the hell are you, and what have you done with Chris?
Look, it's the same with the Xbox, right? I need to get the new Xbox, right? But I just keep holding off. My Xbox console down there is 8. It's an Xbox One. It's 8 years old, right? And still does exactly everything the same. I've had to show you the new Xbox Series X. There's not that much of a difference.
Basically, just higher processing power. That's about it.
Why could they not make a console where you could? Oh, I think I'll get a new CPU for it and change the CPU, or why can I not get like a better graphics card for it? What they do with
technically, you can do that with the Xbox and PlayStations, but you avoid your warranties. That's where they get you.
But it's madness now.
It is.
Everything's throwaway to say, and we're using too much. We're using too many resources: copper, gold, zinc. We're using too much yet.
Yeah.
And all these electric cars. I mean, people don't realise what you got to do with the electric batteries. We can't recycle them. They all just get dumped together. Do you know how they get rid of? Do you know how they recycle car batteries? They've got a big vat of water, and a machine comes down and pierces it, and it drops it under the water. It's a weird solution, a chemical solution, and it neutralizes salt water, I think it is, and it neutralizes the batteries, and then they go to landfill. What? I've got an egg box. Oh, for fuck's sake. You've got the egg box 5000. Come on.
God, but anyway, no. Yeah, they have. Anyway, back to the electric car batteries. They have to do that because that's the only thing that'll neutralize the acid inside the batteries and keep them from blowing up. That's why they have to do that. And like we were saying yesterday, those things go. Fire departments have a very hard time trying to put them out.
Yep.
And especially because of how hot those things get. Like you said, it is no exaggeration where parts of the road, if you have an electric car fire, will melt if it's not put out quickly enough. There's some fire departments that all they could do was isolate the fire, let it burn out on its own because they couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, they just leave it burning.
Yeah, they let it burn out on its own.
See, that. I'm going to tell you something. See all this pollution shit you get with this climate change bullshit, right? Because it is bullshit. See if the entire United States, the entire United Kingdom, and Ireland had to stop tomorrow using all fossil fuels, it would not make one bit of difference, because China and all the other countries out there are burning fossil fuels. Could triple the amount that we're burning. Why hasn't there been a move on with the hydrogen? See, that's interesting you say that, because JCB are actually they're working on that hydrogen JCBs, getting dozers and stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Hydrogen cars are well out there. There's instructions on how to make a simple run to the grocery store to get all the supplies you would need and actually convert your engine to be able to take on more hydrogen base, it would actually clear out your engine. It would make it run better. You get way better fuel mileage.
Yeah.
There's the
But then,
problem. It makes it too good.
yeah. Look, in the 1980s, car manufacturers actually figured out a way of making a car engine get 250 miles to a gallon. I kid you not. And they'll be like, "Oh, you're talking about fuel?" No, it was. I think it was either the hydrogen way, but they didn't do it because oil, money,
Yeah.
and it's the same what Samuel says. It's money. What is money? A bit of paper that says that you can buy a can of juice. A bit of paper that says you, well, not really anymore. It's digital currency. That's all it is. There's a company on the island in Scotland. They have their vehicles run on. Aye, that's kid. I've heard about that. My gas station next to me, where my niece, near where my niece works, they actually sell the hydrogen gas for your cars. You can get and fill it up the tank. I could get my car converted for £1,400, but I would still need to pay. You see, this is the problem. The government don't care. They make it difficult.
Exactly.
You still have to pay tax, and then when it goes for its MOT, it's got to get more stricter MOT because they say it could explode. You know what I mean?
Like, and Samuel said on quite a few interviews I've seen him with, it's the fact that our politicians, US, UK, anywhere really, they're not motivated by the interests of the people. They're all motivated by the interests of what lines their pockets.
Yes.
And the few that do manage to get through, that actually do have somewhat of an interest to try to help the people, what happens to them? They're quickly voted out of office. They have all these criminal charges brought up against them. They're indicted, or if push comes to shove, they get shot.
Right. Look, the politicians, the new again in the UK, are all corrupt. Every one of them. Everyone. It's like Samuel said, Ted, that we really need to start afresh with governments. Right? It's the same with the United States. We need to change everything and get rid of all of them and rebuild the system. Tell you what I read about to start. That's right. Hydrogen and run cars. That's right. I heard about that.
Now it's coming about right at, but again, this kind of goes back to a point. I think we mentioned it yesterday, but I think it may have actually been after the show we did after Samuel Chung. Is that we've noticed lately, within the last couple of years, several of the world elites are starting to drop under mysterious circumstances, right?
Why?
They're either the official statements are that they're sick, or there's stuff coming out about them that's been suppressed for years and years on end. It certainly stands to testify that there is something going on where the changes that have been needed to happen years and years ago are starting to break through. But the question remains, is it too little too late?
I think we've let them stay in power for too long and knew that the roots corruption's everywhere. Maybe in the 1960s, early 70s, there was still some good leaders out there. But knew it's too late. They're all corrupt. Every one of them's corrupt. And you just need to look what's happening in the UK. You just need to look what's happening in the United States with your border and our border. You just need to look what's happening. They don't care. They do not care. Everything's money, 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 money.
Dots. Anti-gravity on the way. You can't keep it down.
Exactly. But I mean, look. I think it'll be a while before all this technology gets released. I don't think it'll happen in your lifetime. Well, my lifetime. It may happen in your lifetime, but I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime.
I don't know, man. Things are moving fast, and let's face it, the world we knew 5 years ago is gone. Let's face it.
Like pre-pandemic.
And the thing is, just to kind of put things into perspective, the education systems especially here in the US are so neglectful of the children themselves. I once told this little joke. I saw it online, thought it was funny. Said, what is one thing that the US and Canada have in common? And my sister goes, what? I said, well, just like the US, Canada is afraid of their neighbors to the south. And she's like, well, who's that? And I wish that was an isolated incident, but so many of these younger kids who are starting to get out into the world, starting to actually go into positions of power, they have that same mentality where they're even more clueless than the members of
Oh, look,
Congress we
who's
have
that
now.
guy? Who's that guy on YouTube that goes to the beach? What do you call it in Los Angeles and asks the stupid questions? He's got something like 4 million subscribers or something like that. What's his name? And he asks, we're doing a thing to protect the Tyrannosaurus Rex and all that stupid questions like that, and they'll be like, "Oh yes, sign me up for it," and people will be like, "I sign me up." We need to
think about how many people bug out of the picture from the first Jurassic Park, right? A Spielberg kneeling in front of the sick Triceratops animatronic that they used in the movie, and people thought he was a big game hunter that just killed it and went to pose with it. The number of people who thought that was a legit thing. It's like, I'm sorry, if he managed to actually shoot and kill a Triceratops, that's a much bigger story.
Look, I'm going to say this. You see that film of the guy and the woman that get froze for an experiment and wake up like 100. Honestly, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I turn on my phone and I go into TikTok and I think to myself, "Shut! I've just arrived." I mean, there's people there pointing their cameras into the sun saying that it's light bulbs and no, it's just your sensor dying. You cannot be doing your camera stops on. Let's face it, there is a lot of stupid folk on this planet. There's too many. There's too many now. What's that Louise's put? I think they've installed the fuel. I think there's one place in Dublin, so I was told. I ken it's a big thing here, hydrogen in Scotland. I ken a few folk that have got hydrogen converted cars. But honestly, I've seen some crazy stuff, man. There's some crazy things. There's the beliefs out there. How do you get it there? Seriously, how can the world be so stupid? Do you think it's maybe junk? It's all this technology's done people doing?
The reliance on it. Where these days, school children don't even have to try to figure out a math problem. All they have to do is they can download no, they don't even have to use a fucking calculator no more. All they have to do is grab out their phone, take a picture, run it through a program called Wolfram Alpha. It's out there. It's available. You can use most of their stuff for free, and it'll solve everything right there for you.
The world's had it. Unless we start making a change soon, it's had it. Somebody says to me the other day, "Oh, they're saying there's got to be an EMP." Ken something? An EMP would probably be a good thing.
They want genuine chaos to unfold. That would be the way to do it.
Would be worse, a zombie apocalypse or the fact that the internet doesn't work anymore.
In fact, the internet not working anymore would bring out the zombies. What are you talking about?
We're messed up. So this week, have you got any shows this week, man?
No, not yet. The new classes for Network Academy are going to be available. The next episode of Frantic Files for season 2, it will be up next week as well. But I do have a couple things to announce as well. Soon, as many people know, Bald and Bonkers, we have many different projects out there. We have movie distribution, music, and we also have books. Well, soon you may just start seeing little job postings for those of you interested in maybe earning a little extra money through voice acting work. We're going to some of our books are actually going to start being put up to be produced as audiobooks.
Yeah, that'd be quite good. I like audiobooks.
Now, so you want a chance to earn a little extra money? Keep an eye on all of our social medias to be on the lookout for that. And the Baldwin Bonkers official band Starlight Amnesia is getting ready to put out their very first album.
Mm.
It's going to be called the Demo Run, and it's basically going to be a sample of all the different projects that we've been working on together. Last I looked just before I came on for the show and found out we were getting screwed over by technology once again.
Yeah.
We have almost 100 songs in the queue ready to go.
That's quite good. That is good.
That's
good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll definitely want to hear some of that because got a pretty nice variety going on it as well. So I'm happy with how it's turning out.
I must admit, Baldwin Bonkers has came a long way since we started off.
I know.
I mean, I think it'll just take time. It'll just take time to build up. Would you?
Hey,
That.
that I think that's my sister preparing her daughter's dinner.
Oh, she using a Hoover.
She's using a blender. Because let's just say, my little niece, she will start screaming at you if you do not feed her quick enough.
There you go.
At least
I thought it was communications coming through or something like that. I can hear you, Mike. Come through.
Hey, no, I think Mike's going to be looking out after his boy.
Oh, Pete, be safe. Don't be getting carried off into the woods by mad cannibal people or something like that.
No. Unfortunately, like I always said, ghosts, aliens, monsters, demons, angels, that I get. Humans are the ones that scare the fuck out of me.
Why? You just need to go into TikTok. I seen a good one the other day. The guy was on the phone. I was sitting in the car, and there was a busy main road. The guy was on his phone, and he walked right out in front of all the traffic. Never looked up once. Just kept going.
I believe that's why Hawaii now has their traffic signals for crosswalks into the ground because of all the cell phone zombies.
Yep.
Just to try to avoid them getting hit. And for God's sakes, people, I'm just going to say this because the number of crashes I've personally seen within the last couple of weeks, be careful on the fucking roads. Thankfully, nobody got hurt with the crashes I saw, but a DUI within 100 yards of a school is not a good thing.
Yeah.
And kids, I know you're getting excited. You know, you just had your prom. You're getting ready for summer vacation. For God's sakes, chill out. You're about to have a reality slap in the face.
I don't know. I'm like Victor Meldrew of the road when I'm driving. I seen a cracker the other day, an absolute cracker. I was driving along. You came to the roads I like in Scotland, wee windy roads, right? And I know this is a bad bit for being a blind corner, so I slowed down and I came up to the top of the hill and I started to get down. And at the very bottom of the hill, there was a brand new Mercedes, a white Mercedes, sitting, but taking up the entire road, and the woman was sitting texting. And I stopped and I sat and waited. And then I went, let's jumped up like that. And she's like, oh, I was just sending a message to somebody. And I said, you're blocking the entire main road. But see, if I hadn't went down there slow, I would have crashed right in there. She had no seatbelt on. She was on her phone.
Yeah.
I dare say.
Let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, might be a good idea for some of these kids going out on the road to start investing in some dash cams.
Yeah, I've got a dash cam. I've got it. It's a cracker or two. I've got to put it on Facebook.
I need to put mine on.
I've got a front dash cam and a back dash cam.
I almost got sideswiped by street racers just trying to get to work, man.
I've had them when I've been driving at night. And I was driving, and there was a set of traffic lights that went green. I thought, all right, it's me to go. So I went. I thought, what the hell's that coming towards me? I could see something getting closer and closer and closer. Car had jumped to hit the traffic lights, and he didn't have his lights on.
Yeah. Plenty of idiots around here that don't like to have their lights on when we're in thick ass fog. Though there's one car I would love to see. Is one of the drag racers. Apparently, he went to speed away from a police officer, and he managed to catch some air over a busy highway.
Mhm.
He managed to clear a 5-lane highway.
That's handy.
And I was just like, I want to see this car. It was a chase at night. It flew over the highway, landed safely, didn't crash. And clearly he had done this before because he had blackout switches set up to where he couldn't be found.
Don't worry, soon you're going to have to drive an electric car everywhere you go. And
I'm not looking forward to that. God, you ever seen the movie Incredibles at the beginning? Mr. Incredible in the car. I look like fucking Mr. Incredible in one of those damn things, man. Yeah, I'm so goddamn cramped. Ugh.
I'm going to say this, right? Electric cars are brilliant, but the batteries are rubbish in them, right? The acceleration of them is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. You can the cars in the UK actually have to have programmed sounds in them because they're too quiet.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. You can actually program, if you buy the new BMW, you can actually change the sound of the engine. The petrol engine, diesel engine. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of newer model Teslas do that too.
Yeah. So there you go. The Dukesy Hazzard. We should get Dukesy Hazzard and do that jump. Get the one that they across the river.
Yeah, those motherfuckers pulled off a Dukes of Hazzard. I was like, I just want to see the car.
Right, can you imagine me and you doing the Dukesy Hazzard jump? Jesus Christ, we need a 5 mile head start.
I was about to say, just the weight between us both, we would need some serious pull.
Oh God.
God, we better sign off before we go totally off the rails.
Goodbye, everyone. Card reading tomorrow and Go Scotland. See you all. Bye-bye.
Much love. Take care. Stay weird.